I just got to run it by the wife before, you know, I kind of pull the trigger here.
Hey, so when your, prospects you talk to about the roofs, when they say, hey, I need to talk with my spouse before I pull the trigger, what goes through your mind?
You know, what's their objection? Like, I feel like they don't really need to talk to their wife.
So what do you feel like I should say to you now? You see what you're doing?
Yeah. No,
I mean, how did your spouse feel about you learning skills? You're talking about 6xing your closing percentage. How does your spouse feel about you learning skills to get up to that level?
We typically like to, make decisions together. Like I'm gonna do the program.
Well,
but
what happens if you go to her and she doesn't want you to get the funds to put in the program? How are you going to get to 60% closing percentages?
Well, I'm sure she's on board with it. I'm sure she is.
Well, how do you know for sure if you have to ask her? Does she want you?
Stud muffin. Jeremy is really, really good. No, Jeremy's right. What he is doing right there is he's hypothetically speaking into the future. I don't like to do that personally because it brings the conversation away from the issues, the problems, the concerns that are facing myself today. So I like to go backwards. I'm Benjamin Button when I deal with partner objections. So I would do that, and I would say something like, maybe you guys have looked like at something similar to this in the past. Maybe you have invested in a coaching program. Maybe you bought a brand new car, a house, a holiday, whatever it may be. What's the one key piece of information you guys need to figure out as a couple to decide whether you're going yay or nay? Well, we just need to really sit down and figure out the finances. Now what I've just done is I've took it away from a partner objection to a financial concern. From there, it's going to go to money, fear, money, logistics, or no money at all. And the question that I would ask is this.
Okay, so when you look at the finances, is it a case that you have the finances and you need a little bit more certainty? Or is it a case that you have some of the investment and you need to logically and logistically figure some of this out? Or is it a case that you have none of the investment and we need to put the valleys on and we need to go rob a bank?
The last one is really important because you've got to bring humor. The reason why you bring humor into it is because most people don't like to talk about a financial commitment. Most people, if you ask 9 out of 10 people, won't tell you how much money they got in their bank account. Why? Because they're embarrassed. It's a shame, it's disappointment, it's frustration. So when you talk to a person and a prospect about a financial commitment, you've got to make it humorous because that brings down the sales resistance, as my very good friend Jeremy Minor would say. Good job, a little bit unconventional to what he would normally do. He's just going straight to the fucking core of that, and he's going straight to the core of, does your wife believe in you? Does she trust you? Does she have value in you? What's going to happen when she buys those new bags? He's future pacing that, but a little bit different than what he would normally do. So there you go, that's my 2 cents on it.